What is up, everyone? Welcome back into another Grizz Game Day update. I'm Kelcey. That is Mike. The Grizzlies are back home. Feels like they've been gone forever, a solid 10 days, but they are back at FedEx Forum tonight, taking on the LA Clippers at 7 o'clock. This right here is presented by Bally Sports Southeast. So let's get into it. Paul George is out. Kawhi is obviously still out. Dylan Brooks out for the Grizzlies. And this is the fourth and final time that these two teams will play in the regular season this season. Mike, this is also a Clippers team that had maybe one of the most surprising, if you take out maybe today's trade and the trade deadline trade, Norman Powell, Robert Covington now on the Clippers team. They got rid of a couple guys, sent them over to Portland. So does Norman Powell and Robert Covington make a difference in the way that these two teams match up? The Grizzlies have taken all three so far this season.
I think they make a difference in how these teams match up potentially in a first round playoff series when everybody gets back and you have that kind of depth and that kind of experience. But as of right now, I don't know how much those guys move the needle. Norman Powell is definitely a player capable of getting 20 points and really leading you. And Robert Covington has always been one of my favorite players. Shout out to Robert Covington, too, because he's one of the lone HBCU, historically Black colleges and universities alum playing in the NBA right now. But as it relates to tonight's matchup, these are guys that came in from the Portland Reach, as I call it. They will help the Clippers, but right now they're looking up at the Grizzlies. And as long as the Grizzlies are playing the way that they played over these last two plus months, you're talking about 24-9 since December and January. I like the Grizzlies' chances, particularly at home, because they're finding a way to play better at home, and they found their rhythm and their confidence, and they're not going to flinch when they look at the Clippers right now.
Yeah, look, Ja and Jaren tweeted it yesterday. Ja said push up. Jaren said pull up. They want to pack FedEx Forum on this beautiful Tuesday evening game. It's at 7 o'clock, like I said. Yeah. Look, Paul George is still out. That is the leading scorer. It's the leading assist giver. It's the leader of this team. He's out. Yeah. So who steps up now? So the Grizzlies, if you look at the last three games that these two teams play together, they have not scored less than 120 points. Like I said, they won all three of them. In the last matchup, it was Marcus Morris, it was Reggie Jackson who had a couple games. The last game, we also didn't have Ja Morant. Right. Ja being now injected into this game, how does that change things for the Grizzlies versus the Clippers?
Yes, he's going to set the tone. He's going to push these guys. You talk about Ja Morant, him averaging 30 right now, over the stretch of games that he's done this over the last 10 games or whatever is remarkable. He's scoring so effortlessly right now. We know he's one of the leaders in paint points. We know he can get to his numbers easily, and he's also facilitating as well too. So you basically are installing a guy who's playing at the top of his game, and he's a matchup nightmare. But what he also does is he gets the Grizzlies in transition, and they create all of these highlights, and everybody wants to run with Ja because you're going to end up in a highlight with him. And so that's what he brings to this team. And I don't think the Clippers can match up with that. Reggie Jackson is a capable player. Norman Powell and Covington are defenders that they can put on Ja a little bit, but it's going to be interesting to see. But like I said, I think what the Grizzlies have to do tonight are the things that they've always done. Rebound, which is their number one in the league right now in rebounding. They've taken over that. They still are one of the top teams in the league in both offensive and defensive efficiency. So we're seeing them perform at that level. And they're just, Kelcey, frankly, punking teams at this point. They are pushing teams so hard that teams are basically just quitting midway through the third quarter when the Grizzlies get up on them. So I love that kind of swagger that they're playing with. And I want to see how it plays tonight against a tough-minded Clippers team.
All right, so you brought up a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to go through this really quickly. First off, you brought up points in the paint when you were talking about Ja. The Grizzlies are number one. They lead the league. If you look at the Clippers on the opposite, they are 27th in the league. So very, very down to the bottom. And that brings me to the offensive rebounding. Okay, so rebounding altogether, the Grizzlies are 1. You said that. Clippers are 21. So not great. If you look at second chance points and offensive, and this is where I wanted to talk to you about. The Grizzlies, again, number 1 in the league. I love saying that we lead in all these categories. Second chance points, 1 in the league. The Clippers, dead last, number 30. They only get about 9 offensive rebounds per game. Zubac is their leading rebounder. He only averages about 8 rebounds per game. So when you look at, let's take the guards off the table, because I feel like we talk about the guards a lot because Ja Morant is, our MVP candidate. Let's look at the bigs though. They've got Zubac. They've got 8 rebounds a game. I feel like we have a bunch of guys who are averaging 8 rebounds a game, and they're not even the big. So this is the guy who gets the most rebounds for this team. And then we've got Steven Adams, we've got Jaren Jackson Jr., we've got all these guys who can rebound. How do the Clippers come into this game and look to maybe not have that as such a mismatch down low?
How do they mitigate that from that standpoint? When you talk about the energy, though, first of all, Steven Adams provides the physicality. Jaren Jackson provides the versatility. Brandon Clark provides the energy and the relentlessness in terms of how he attacks the basket. So the Grizzlies are multiple when it comes to that. What the Clippers have to do, number one, is make shots, not give the Grizzlies chances to get those second chance points. And so the Clippers have to make shots to keep themselves scoring, but they got to eliminate the Grizzlies getting second chance opportunities. And that's easier said than done. Who's going to get down there and box out Steven Adams? Who's going to keep Brandon Clark under the rim? That's just too much to try to do. So especially when you don't have a whole bunch of bigs on your side. But the key, though, is that when you bring in Robert Covington and you bring in Powell, those guys can play the 3 and the 4, and they make you try to go smaller. And that's going to be the key. Can the Grizzlies front court guys keep up and match up with smaller bigs that the Clippers are going to try to play? And that's been their best. They're going to give up a lot of points. It's going to be a track meet, but I don't know if the Clippers can match what the Grizzlies can do from a scoring standpoint. But that's the best thing. You got to out physical a physical team. And I don't see the Clippers having the bigs, capable of doing that to the Grizzlies.
All right, let's end off with, how we either go stat of the game or player of the game. Let's go player of the game for the Grizzlies. You choose one.
Well, first of all, I want to give you a shout out. I love your shirt. Thanks, Harriet. Thanks, Fanny. There we go. Thanks, Martin, Malcolm, Stokely. I mean, it's just a wonderful shirt. Black Lives Matter. It's all good. And Black History Month is what it is. It's a Black History experience. We don't limit it to 1 month, but I appreciate that shirt. It's a wonderful shirt. I will go stat that matters in this game to me. And here it is. This is a cheat stat, though. And it goes to a piece that I have up on Grind City Media right now. Jaren Jackson Jr.'s durability. When he plays tonight, he will be playing in his 55th game of the season. If he continues to play all the way through the last 5 games going into All-Star break, he will have surpassed his single season games played total for all of his previous 3 seasons. His durability speaks volumes this season. He's played in a team high 54 games. So just the fact that he's available for you, continues to be available for you, is going to be a key to having the Grizzlies continue to play at this defensive level. So his defense is going to set the tone, but his availability sets the tone for that defense to be set. So that's what I would go with. 55 games this season out of 56 for Jaren Jackson Jr. is remarkable. That's the stat for tonight.
All right, that's your stat. That's also your player then. The stat that I'm going to go with is the 3-point shooting. When the Grizzlies shoot over 41% from the 3, they are lossless. They have not lost a game when they shoot 41 or more % from the 3-point line. Jaren is a big part of that. Jaren, Ja, D'Anthony Melton, Desmond Bane. Obviously, if he can get his shot going again today, I think it's going to be I don't want to say an easy one, but when they shoot so well from the 3, it forces defenses out. It gives Ja more. So it makes it easier on them.
Yep. So durability on my end and the deep ball on your end.
There we go.
I can go with that.
Yeah. And the third D is, don't miss watching this on Bally Sports Southeast at 7:00, guys. We'll see you later tonight. Come check out the game at FedEx Forum. If you can get your tickets at 901-888-HOOP or on grizzlies.com. And if you're chilling at home tonight, make sure you tune in. Again, it's 7:00. Pregame is at 6:30 on Bally Sports Southeast.